Disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Hello and welcome back. Today I want to bring you a sad story, and I'm going to say trigger warning. Parents' aunt arrested after baby nearly dies from more than 50 rat bites. Two parents and an aunt are facing charges in Evansville, Indiana, after a baby in their care found bloodied, covered with rat bites. The story comes from NBC affiliate. The 6-month-old boy was found face down in his bassinet on April 13, 2023, with wounds all over his face and body. The plausible cause affidavit says David Anthony Schonenbaum and mother Angela Schonenbaum say the boy had more than 50 bites to his forehead, right cheek, and nose. He also had several bites on his right leg and foot. On the baby's left hand, there was a large wound on top of his ring finger, exposing the bone. On his right hand, there were bites from the elbow to his hand. All 4 of the child's fingers and thumbs on the right hand were missing flesh from the top, exposing fingertip bones. According to the documents with the index, the pinky finger was the most severely injured, missing fleshy part halfway down his finger. According to hospital records, the child suffered a nearly fatal event. David Schonenbaum told the police that he found the boy that morning covered in blood and called 911. He told investigators that the home had a rodent problem and that the house had been treated professionally several times. He also produced records showing that the home had been treated several times, starting in the spring of 2023, March 31st, April 24th, May 23rd, June 30th, July 26th, and August 21st. David Schonenbaum said that he lived in a home with his wife, Angela Schonenbaum, and their 3 children. Delana Thurman, Angela's sister, and her 2 children lived in a home also. David said Angela had checked herself into a mental health facility on September 10, 2023. She was released on September 13th, a day early, due to the incident with her son, police said in the court documents. The affidavit shows that the children told their teacher earlier that month that their toes had been bitten by mice while they slept. The Department of Children's Safety visited their home a few days later. Police say Thurman told DCF workers that the marks on her child's toes were scratches from the bed frame. The Schonenbaums also had 2 previous interactions with DCF on December 2022. DCF submitted a claim of neglect on David and Angela Schonenbaum in regards to their middle child being injured due to lack of supervision. Later in June 2023, DCF sustained a claim of physical abuse from the same child, a 3-year-old, against David Schonenbaum. DCS declined to comment. The home was regularly checked by social workers who documented that it was cluttered, trash was sitting out, had animal feces on the floor, had dirt, dishes piled up, had foul odors emitting from the kitchen, according to court documents. However, the caseworkers indicated the state of the home was slowly improving. The last social worker walked through of the home prior to the incident with the baby was September 9, 2023. All 3 adults living in the home are facing felony charges
today about the case and the disturbing scenes of what was going on just next door. Well, Randy, Brianne, if you spoke with the neighbors of those arrested, you'd think the home here on Evansville's south side was just like any other. The situation, however, was anything but. We do want to warn you, you may find some of the details in this story to be disturbing.
They're good people.
They have always been nice. They have always been cool. I've always seen her take care of that baby.
If you spoke to people living on South Linwood Avenue, they would tell you their neighbors were good people. That's because they had no reason to believe otherwise.
They take good care of their kids. I'm always seeing them loading food in their house.
But everything was not as it seemed.
People can put up a front, or maybe you just don't know them well enough, or behind closed doors there's things going on.
And there were. Police made their way out to the home on South Linwood for a medic run.
The only reason why we even knew about it was because the dad woke up and the baby was covered in blood. And that was our first involvement. We should have been involved. Someone should have picked up the phone and called us prior to that.
Inside of the home, police say, were deplorable conditions. An affidavit cited feces on the floor, rats in the home, and trash scattered about. That affidavit was for 3 people arrested in connection to the severe neglect of a 6-month-old. Parents David and Angel Schonnebaum and Delana Thurman, Angel's sister.
Did you hear how severe the injuries were to the 6-month-old?
No.
Police believe that a rat mice bit the skin off of the fingers of the child.
Oh my God.
The child almost actually died. Was rushed to Riley's Children in Indy.
I didn't know about the fingers. She told me that his face was disfigured.
Yeah, they believe that he was bitten a little over 50 times.
Oh my God.
Neighbor Teresa Favors didn't know how bad it was until we spoke with her.
How does a child get bit over 50 times and nobody knows that the child is bit?
Would you have ever suspected something like that to happen here?
No.
In the affidavit, police say the family was already under investigation by the Department of Child Services. The last home visit, September 9th. That was from a home-based therapy company called Maglinger Home Services. We reached out to the DCS to attempt to understand how the situation could have gone on for months. They told us they couldn't comment on the case. EPD Sergeant Anna Gray says it's one of the worst child neglect cases she's seen in her decades on the force.
It's really hard to see that, and it's really hard sometimes to just maintain composure and be professional.
As for the accused, they face multiple charges of child neglect, a case so bad it nearly killed a baby who couldn't defend itself.
Any forms of neglect, no, none shown, none of that. I've never seen it 50 times.
Well, the other 4 children in the home have been placed in another home. We will be staying on top of this case as it continues to unfold, and we'll update you each step of the way.
David Schonnebaum will now serve 16 years in prison. 44 News reporter Leah Malero spoke with the prosecutor, who says justice was rightfully served.
Back in September, a jury decided that David Schonnebaum was guilty on 3 counts of felony neglect. Now today, the time he'll spend behind bars was determined by the judge, who said that David Schonnebaum failed in his role as a father to the most vulnerable population in our society.
This is one that all the prosecutors and the police and the AMR who responded will remember forever.
As of today, he will serve 13 years in prison for count 1, 18 months for count 2, and 18 months for count 3, a total of 16 years behind bars.
The case was particularly egregious. He failed miserably at taking care of his children and failed miserably at calling 911 and properly caring for this infant when something tragic happened. So luckily, we're lucky that the infant survived this.
During the hearing, the defense brought in Schonnebaum's employer in hopes the judge would consider work correctional placement, but was denied. Schonnebaum himself read a letter before the court saying he understood the severity of the case and that he will forever replay in his head finding his baby that morning. The prosecution argued, however, that Schonnebaum has not shown any remorse in the course of the case, stating that Schonnebaum never took full accountability and through multiple resources, conditions never improved, which led to the near death of a defenseless baby that will forever alter the child's life.
Just absolutely horrific. So we really wanted to paint the picture for the jury of all the involvement that was leading up to this case, to give him a chance to clean up the home, to give him a chance to, do the right thing.
Now, Schonnebaum's attorney did say that they will be filing an appeal for the conviction and the sentencing. Now, the mother of the baby, Angel Schonnebaum, is expected to be in court on October 24th for her sentencing hearing. Reporting in Evansville, Aaliyah Malero, 44 News.
in Evansville was sentenced and released. Today, a judge sentenced Angel Schoenbaum to 1 year in prison and 3 years of probation, but she was credited with nearly 400 days already spent in jail and was released on probation. She was arrested last year after authorities say her 6-month-old baby was bitten over 50 times by rats. The father, David Schoenbaum, has been sentenced to 16 years in prison. The child's aunt, Delana Thurman, was sentenced to 2 years of probation.
I'll say once again, every child deserves parents, but not every parent deserves a child. Thanks again for watching, and bye-bye for now.